A legendary slate of games is coming to Game Pass. Music licenses are quantumly broken in the land of Xbox, and E3 is dead, 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 dead. Because this is your SPARCPass news update for April 4th, 2023. My name is Mark, and I am joined, as always, by Spencer. Spence, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. Apparently better than E3 is. Sheesh.
Apparently E3 is dead, 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 deader than dead. We'll talk about it a little bit later on in the show. How are you?
I'm good.
What's going on with you?
I'm
You good? You want to talk about some ding-dang video games today?
I want to talk about some video games.
Oh boy, let's talk about some video games today. We actually got a very good slate of games coming to Game Pass in April. Let's get right down to business. Like, I don't even see any need to waste any more of your ding-dang time. Let's do it. Let's talk about Game Pass games. So right off the top, coming out today, we got the slate today, about an hour ago, as of time of recording. We've got two games that are coming to Game Pass today, right now. You can go get them. In fact, I just downloaded one of them. Goat Simulator returns. That will be on console, cloud, and PC. We talked on the last news show about how Goat Simulator was leaving. So they got that patched up real fucking fast, apparently. I don't know what this... I guess it was just like license, went away, and then the company was like, hey, but we still want to be on Game Pass. And Microsoft was like, you got it, baby. You're back.
Sure. No problem.
No problem. We solved the situation right up. Here's a little bit of money under the table so that we don't talk about it, and we're good. Everything's grand. So Goat Simulator's back.
It was a really fast turnaround, though.
It
wasn't like a year-long thing or anything.
Right. It was like, what, 2 weeks?
Yeah,
it was off the service?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well,
it's not
that's
bad.
fine. We'll take that. I'm not going to sit here and proclaim myself the world's largest Goat Simulator fan or anything.
Same.
But it's a cool game, and it's a fun fuck around, find out kind of game. It's perfect for Game Pass, right? Like, it's just the perfect kind of game to just, like, turn on when you have an hour to kill, and it's just like, I'm just gonna fuck around and fucking Goat Simulator. Look at this ding-dang little guy doing a flip. Like, that's what it's there for. It's a perfect fit for the service. I'm glad they got it fixed up, and I'm glad it's back on Game Pass. Very cool stuff. The other game that came to Game Pass today is one we actually didn't know about. We didn't see this one coming. One of the sleeper hits of, I think it was last year, I think it was 2022, it might have been 2021, Loop Hero is coming to console, cloud, and PC. This is a roguelike game that's almost an idle game. It's not quite, it's like a little bit more active than an idle game. It's like right in that middle space where like you've still got some shit that you're doing, but you're not hands-on all the time. And when this game came out, I knew several people that got full-fledged addicted to Loop Hero.
Really?
Like, they would just sit for hours as like a second monitor experience, right? They'd like have something they're watching on a primary monitor, like they'd be watching a, football game or whatever. And then on the second monitor, they'd just be passively checking in on Loop Hero. This game was a wild indie success for Devolver. It's published by Devolver, so like pretty good odds that it's going to be good, right? Like Devolver puts out good shit. And apparently a lot of people got super hooked on it when it came out. I'm interested in checking it out. I tend to not be super into games that you play more passively. Tend to not be into that. But apparently this is a really good one, so I'm willing to go check it out.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I'm not usually super into those kind of games. Like, I feel like I have the opposite of, I would rather have a game that I'm focusing on and then the second monitor be like a stream that I'm watching, or like, a football game that I'm watching, just kind of like checking the score every now and then in the background, and I'm focusing more on the game that I'm playing. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm probably not super jazzed on it, but I would probably try it through cloud. Like, this feels like something I would pull up on like my tablet or my phone when I'm just like on the couch watching TV or a movie or whatever, over like pulling it up on my desktop and playing it, right?
Yeah, I think that sounds perfectly reasonable. I see it as again very much a second monitor experience. Like you're on your computer doing something, and then check in on Loop Hero, right? Like
Right.
I can totally see it as that. I definitely want to check it out, and it's a good get for Game Pass. Like this game is another one that's just like I saw it was coming to Game Pass, and I was like, oh, that makes so much sense to be on Game Pass. Because it's
Yeah.
a game you can just sort of passively check out. You can check it out on cloud. And it's not a huge time requirement for you,
Right.
right? Like it's just oh hey, look over here. Oh hey, here's Loop Hero. Okay, do this for a little bit.
Cool. Now you're done.
Now you're done. Right, exactly. Yeah, it's a perfect fit for the sort of like bite-sized, snack-sized gaming that Game Pass wants a lot of, right?
Yeah.
Game Pass wants big experiences, but it also wants little bite-sized things so that on a day where you don't have 4 hours to play a video game, on a day where you've got 30 minutes, you're still interacting with the service, right?
Exactly.
So Loop Hero, I think, is a game that makes perfect sense for that. Super glad it's coming to the service. We're not done. We got a bunch more games coming. Iron Brigade. I had completely forgotten about this one. This is an old Xbox Live arcade classic from the fine folks at Double Fine. This game came out in 2011. It is a hybrid third-person shooter tower defense game. This game is coming to console and cloud. It kind of feels like we've been seeing this for the past several months. A lot of Double Fine's old shit that was published by other people, those licenses are expiring. And because Double Fine is now owned by Microsoft, Microsoft is just going, all right, shove it in Game Pass.
Yeah. I mean, which makes sense. It's kind of like perfect for that. You just let those old contracts die out and then go, here you go.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's no reason not to. You own the thing. It's part of the reason they bought Double Fine in the first place, right? Double Fine has this extensive library of small weirdo games. Where they spent like half a year developing it and then they just threw it out on Xbox Live Arcade, right? Like they have a history with this and they have a large library that they don't own all of. So as this stuff comes in back into the ownership of Double Fine, either Microsoft can go negotiate that or they just let the license expire and it comes to them naturally. You can start chucking this shit on Game Pass, and I think it's a perfect fit. I don't think I ever particularly played this particular one. I don't know that I played Iron Brigade.
I don't think
I recognized it as soon as I heard the name, though. I was like, an old Xbox Live Arcade game? Like, I recognized it right away. I think it came out in 2011. It was like late in the 360's life.
Oh yeah. Yeah, looking at pictures of it,
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It's like
it is of the era.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is of the era for sure.
Yeah. I definitely have not played this game.
Yeah, there you go. Well, now you don't have to dig out your Xbox 360 like I did a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
You don't have to do that. You can just turn on Game Pass. The other game coming out. Oh,
I
go ahead.
want
I'm
more
sorry.
of those experiences, please. Give me all of my old Xbox 360 games without me needing to get my 360 out. That'd be great.
Oh, dude. Like, they've done a really nice job of getting all the important shit. Right?
Oh, yeah, the big names are there for sure.
All the important Xbox 360 stuff that isn't tied to a license is pretty much on the Xbox One or Xbox Series console somewhere, right?
Yeah.
It's really the license stuff at this point that's an issue. Most of the important shit is on backwards compatibility at this point.
And listen, I know the Activision Blizzard thing, people are all excited about possibly the new Call of Duty being on Game Pass one day. I just want to play Black Ops 2 again. From 2011, please. Thank you.
I have a funny story on that, Spencer. I check the what's selling on Microsoft store every week. So for the month of March, they had a big backwards compatibility sale, right? The number one selling game on Xbox in March 2023 was Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
It's because it was the best Call of Duty ever made.
I think it was like $5.
Oh, yeah.
And fucking everybody was just like, oh, fuck, let's go,
I'll spend
right?
$5 on that.
Right. I think it was either 5 or 10, one or the other. It was cheap, whatever it was. And a bunch of people picked it up on backwards compatibility. Like, this is such a huge. These older Xbox 360 era games, especially, we're getting to the point where the Xbox 360 is a nostalgic console.
Mm-hmm.
It is officially retro, right? So you're going to have a bunch of people in their 20s who are like, oh man, I grew up playing Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2 or whatever the fuck, right? Or Black Ops 2, whatever, shit. You're going to have a bunch of those people. So backwards compatibility makes total sense.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're still making money off of a decades-old game, and Microsoft still picks up the bill for at least half of that. You know what? They get like 30% off a digital sale or something like that?
whatever the digital cut is.
I think it's like 25-30%, something like that.
I mean,
like,
think about it.
You're making money.
Even with Halo Infinite being free to play, people are still playing Master Chief Collection to play Halo 3.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
It makes sense.
Yeah. It makes sense to put these old experiences somewhere. I think Game Pass is one good place for them. I think for Iron Brigade, Game Pass probably makes the most sense.
Yeah, I don't see anybody like going out and buying this game. But it being included in Game Pass, people are either like, yeah, I played the hell out of that when I had my 360, or they're going like me, yeah, I never played that. What is this?
Right, yeah. It's just like, oh man, I remember seeing that on the storefront a decade ago or whatever, right?
Right.
Because that's where my brain tricked. I was like, I remember seeing this on the Xbox 360 storefront in like 2011, 2012. Like, what the fuck? Like, I had a brain blast when I saw the logo. I was like, what is this? But yeah, I think it's very cool that these older games have a home on Xbox, whereas it feels like other competing consoles, namely Sony and to a lesser extent Nintendo, have deprioritized their back catalog, which Microsoft has not done. They've prioritized the shit out of their back catalog.
Yeah.
And this is just another example, so well done there. The other game coming out on April 6th is Everspace 2. I don't think we have a whole lot to say about Everspace. It's PC exclusive. It's a game about space. It's coming out of Game Preview. It's done in Game Preview.
I don't know anything about this game, so I'm going to give it the old Google real quick.
It's a game about space. I think it's like a hardcore, like more of a simulation-y kind of
fast-paced single-player spaceship shooter with worthwhile exploration in space and on planets. Tons of loot, RPG elements, mining, and crafting. Experience a thoughtful sci-fi story set in a vivid, handcrafted open world of secrets, puzzles, and perils.
So that's been available on Game Preview for a while, and if that sounds cool to you, because I forgot to look up what the fuck Everspace 2 was.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into that kind of stuff, like, this looks like a game you would like.
Yeah, neat. It's only on PC, though, so if you're on console, fuck yourself.
Oh boy, this menu is straight out of No Man's Sky. And
yeah.
So if you like No Man's Sky, you'll probably like this, because it looks like it's basically the same thing, just not with your friends.
Seems legit.
Because it's single player.
Yeah. All right. So Everspace 2, that's coming out on April 6th. April 12th, this is a big one, Spencer. Ghostwire Tokyo. Finally, after a year plus of only being available on Sony consoles and PC, Ghostwire Tokyo is coming to Game Pass on console, cloud, and PC April 12th. Spencer, you played the hell out of this game the second it came out, so I'm going to just let you roll.
Yeah, dude, this game is sick. If you have not played it, like you were waiting for it to come to Game Pass, or you only have an Xbox console, it's your only way to play video games, you should definitely check it out. It's creepy, but I'm not going to say it's like a horror game. Right? Like, there's not a lot, or if I even remember, like, any real jump scares. The biggest thing is, like, you're fighting ghosts. That's, like, the creepy part of it. And the ghosts are very creepy. Their design is very creepy and very good. If you're into, like, Japanese folklore and things like that, these are the creepy monsters that you'll be interacting with and fighting. But the story overall is pretty good. It didn't blow me away per se,
right.
But the gameplay is really, really fun. It's a first-person game that feels like a shooter, but it has some differences to it with like different magical powers that you can use as opposed to just having a gun and walking through and blasting everything, right?
Right.
Game's sick, dude. 100% recommend that you play this game. And if you're into like spooky stuff, but you don't like pure horror, maybe this would be a good Halloween game for you. If you don't like to
Absolutely.
be actually scared, but you're like, I like creepy stuff, just I don't want it to like jump scare me. This is a solid
Right.
game for that.
Right on. Good deal. I absolutely want to check this out at some point. In fact, I think it's fair to say we're just kind of waiting on a gap in the schedule so we can play this for the show.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say.
I'm excited too because there's a new update with it. Like there's content in it that's never been in it before that's coming to Game Pass. So I'm excited because I'll have something new to play. Even though I played the game day one, right? There's still something new for me, which is awesome.
And that's the cool thing that they've been doing with a lot of these Bethesda games that are coming to the service later on after they've already been out for a while. Because Deathloop did the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Right? There was a bunch of new stuff that they added to the multiplayer. So I think it's very cool. I think the game looks sweet. And 100%, we are going to play it for the show at some point. Whenever
I'm down to play it again.
Yeah, whenever we get time, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because the next couple of months are stacked for Game Pass games. We're going to have to hit a few new releases. I think sometime over the summer we'll probably have time for it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it'll probably be like July-ish. We'll find time to play this game.
I did forget one thing about this game.
Yes.
If you are a collector in video games, like you like to find every little collectable item, this game's for you. There are like a billion collectibles in this game. So you will probably spend from now until Starfield comes out collecting shit. So you're good to go. There's a lot of stuff, man. You
got 6 months to kill. Here we go.
Yeah,
here's your spot.
A lot of shit.
Right on. All right. So that's Ghostwire Tokyo. We will play it for the show and give you our full thoughts at some point once we get the schedule clear of all this new shit that's coming to Game Pass. The next day, April 13th, NHL 23 comes to console. Cool. The NHL games tend to hit Game Pass once the playoffs start. The playoffs are starting. Yeah. It's a new the new NHL game. I've been getting back into hockey this year, right? This has been a goal of mine for the past year or so, is to get back into hockey, and I've kind of gotten back into it. My excitement has died because my precious poor Red Wings are out of the playoff mix, so they've got I think they've got 5 games left and then they're dead. So, playoff hockey isn't happening for my team this year, but you can enjoy playoff hockey by playing NHL 23. In fact, I might try this. I haven't played one of the NHL games in a long while. It's probably been since the Xbox One era that I checked out an NHL game. I don't know if they've held up. I know a lot of EA's other properties have sort of gone, but I don't know if the NHL games have held up.
I don't know if I've ever actually played one of the official NHL games like this. The only game that I can really remember, a hockey game that I remember playing, is NHL Blitz. Do you remember?
Hits.
I think
Hits. Yeah, I remember Hits. Yeah,
I played that with a friend of mine, literally every night in middle school. And I had a real goofy ass snowman head on, and would just fight every person.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
The game was a blast.
I love those old arcadey sports games. I was a huge hockey fan when I was a kid, so I can list you off a myriad of awesome old school arcadey hockey games. Mutant League Hockey, fucking Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey, NHL Hits is another one. There are a ton of those, but I also played the more simulation style, the EA games, right? Because NHL 97 is a classic. I have a deep, abiding love in my heart, and I think I still have my copy of it back here on the shelf. I'd have to go look. NHL 99 on the Super Nintendo. Yes, they were still putting NHL games on the Super Nintendo well into 1999.
Damn.
We were deep in the N64 era. I loved the shit out of NHL 99. I could recall the theme music off memory. Like, I spent a shit ton of time listening to that. It just looped that for like 20 fucking minutes, and I would sit there tinkering with rosters. Love the shit out of the old NHL games. I probably stopped playing around the time I stopped watching hockey, which is around like 2005, right?
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
I haven't really played an NHL game other than like casually picking it up for a couple minutes since. So now that I'm back into watching hockey, I'll give NHL 23 a go. You know, like I was actually thinking about buying it not too long ago, and now that it's on Game Pass, I don't have to. Sick, hell yeah, good job me saving money.
Yeah, there you go. So you just have to wait a little bit, and it'll pop up for sure.
Yeah, they usually come up, and this is true of pretty much all the sports titles. They usually come up around playoff time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because that's like the last push before the game becomes outdated, right? So it makes sense that they start to push it there. The only exception to that is MLB. They put out their game at the start of the season. Pretty much everybody else comes to Game Pass during the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, anyway, NHL 23, April 13th. I will probably check it out and report back. I'll let you guys know. Because I've been getting back into hockey, and goddamn it, the Red Wings have to win somewhere, even if it's in my memory banks back in 1997.
I was wondering, like, if you tried it, I was like, is this gonna be your way of like getting them in the playoffs, even though they aren't in the playoffs?
Man, they were so fucking close. Oh, they had two really bad games close to the trade deadline, and Steve Yzerman was just like, blow them up. We're trading like 3 people, and I'm like, you're so close.
Don't do it.
Oh, you're so close. It is probably for the best for long-term development. It is probably correct to get back and get better draft picks, but goddamn it, Steve. My first year back, this team hasn't been in the playoffs since like 2016. I need this. Anyway, I won't rant about the Wings anymore. Go listen to the Winged Wheel podcast if you want to listen to Red Wings talk. I love that podcast. That's a great shout out from me. NHL 23 is coming to Game Pass April 13th. Go play it if you want. I don't know. You're an adult.
You're grown.
You're grown. Make good choices. The last game coming in the first half of April is the game we're going to be playing in May for the May show. Minecraft Legends, console, cloud, PC. This is a game I was not that excited about until I saw the multiplayer trailer. Like the most recent Dev Direct was the thing that got me like, okay, yeah, I'm excited about Minecraft Legends. It's got this weird, like, it's like a real-time strategy game, but it's third-person kind of thing going on. It looks weird and it looks cool. I'm interested in checking it out.
Yeah, I don't even think I caught that trailer. But
it was during the Dev Direct. We watched the whole Dev Direct.
Oh, I thought you meant like there was more recently one.
Sorry. No. We're talking about No, you're good. I'm talking about the Dev Directs.
Gotcha.
The Dev Direct one. I think they've put out a little bit more since then, but that's the last big thing I saw.
Yeah, I'd say I haven't really seen anything since then. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence if I'm super excited about this one or not, because part of it looks super cool, part of it doesn't look like something I'm as into. But I don't know. I feel like we're gonna play it together probably at some point on the stream.
Yeah,
and that will make it 1,000 times more fun than if I played it by myself.
Yeah, we'll see how that ends up looking, right? Because I don't know that the main game has the full multiplayer component. I think the multiplayer is just like a multiplayer competitive suite over here. I'm not sure.
It's not like all.
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I'm kind of excited to check this out though, because I do think the premise of like an adventure game, real-time strategy hybrid in the Minecraft world is like a cool idea. And I'm glad they're doing other stuff with Minecraft. It's not just Minecraft.
Yeah, I think that's the coolest part, right? Is that they're doing more than just the build your own things, do your own things.
Right.
Because while that's awesome, there's a lot of times where I don't want to do that. Or like I just don't have the time or interest to be like, I'm gonna build this giant world. And I'm like, I started with dirt. This is gonna take 1,000 years. I don't want to do this anymore.
Right. Yeah. Fair. Yeah, I think it's super cool they're doing other stuff with Minecraft. And I'm super excited to learn more about this game because I feel like this is definitely one that I think is flying under the radar. I think a lot of people are talking about Redfall. A lot of people are still talking about Starfield.
Yeah.
I think this is the game that's flying under the radar. And I mean, for fuck's sake, it's Minecraft. It's going to make $1 billion.
Oh yeah, for
Like,
sure.
it is 100% flying under the radar for a lot of people, myself included. I don't feel like I know everything I need to know about Minecraft Legends before jumping in, right?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's kind of snuck up on me. It's like, oh yeah, that game's coming out in like a week and a half. 2 weeks. In fact, exactly 2 weeks. So yeah, it's super snuck up on me. But I'm excited to check it out. That'll be our game for the May show. So you'll get to hear our full thoughts in May. But I'm super jazzed to give it a look.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see just Minecraft, like we said, expanding. And unless it's something that I'm adamantly not into, I'll give pretty much any of them a shot because I think it's cool. I think it's cool that this grew from something that was like very niche to be very popular to go, what if we made things that other people might like to get them into our IP? So that's
Right.
what I dig about it.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
down.
And we've been exploring that with Minecraft Dungeons, which will be our show next week.
Yeah.
So yeah, super excited to hear everybody's thoughts on Minecraft Dungeons. A lot of people have been coming back to that game. I actually noticed Gothalion, the big Destiny streamer, was playing it with his son on stream last week, and it sort of sparked a big like, oh yeah, Minecraft Dungeons is a thing, right?
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. And Minecraft Legends is coming out, in a couple weeks, so that's probably sparking some of it too. Is same thing we did, right? Of like, oh yeah, there's a new spinoff coming out. How was the last spinoff, right?
Exactly.
So Minecraft Legends coming April 18th. That's a cool one to check out. Unfortunately, in between NHL 23 on April 13th and Minecraft Legends on April 18th, on April 15th, Spencer, there are several games leaving Game Pass. And there's actually some good ones here. I'll start with the ones that, people may or may not care about. Moonglow Bay, Panzer Corps 2, Dungeon of Nahublek, The Riftbreaker, and this one's kind of a deal, The Long Dark. This is a survival game that's been on Game Pass for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's getting an expansion actually in like a couple weeks, I think. And it's leaving Game Pass right before the expansion comes out, which the developer actually put out a statement saying that wasn't our plan. Microsoft let us know that our contract was up and they weren't planning to renew because it's been on Game Pass for like 2 or 3 years. It's been on Game Pass for a while. And Microsoft let us know they weren't planning to renew. So I don't know, buy our game, please. It was very much this like, oh man, we're just about to put it on an expansion and now we're losing this big audience.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Which is a shame. The Long Dark is not my style of game. I've played it for Game Pass quests in the past. It is very much a hardcore survival game. You are on a mountain. It is snowing. You have to find warmth, food, and shelter, otherwise you will die. Yeah. Right? Like, it is a hardcore survival game. So if you're not into that, this ain't for you. But they're putting out a nice big expansion in a couple weeks, and I wanted to give it a shout because it is a shame that they are losing that baked-in Game Pass audience right before their expansion comes out.
Yeah, it feels like the worst possible time, right? Like, the only upside to it is you'll get your discount if you want to buy it.
Right.
But for them, it's like, dude, you gotta be kidding me. We're about to put out this new expansion, and now we're losing a lot of, like, the base game players from Game Pass. Yeah, that really sucks.
Yeah, that's a tough vibe. That's a hard time. And I'm sure a ton of people are just used to having it because it's been on Game Pass for so long. Exactly. That a lot of people probably won't even think about, oh shit, it's leaving? And they'll just like go to play it one day and they won't be able to play it. Be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's a weird situation, and I feel bad for that dev team because this is one that I wish Microsoft had just gone like, I'll give you one more year, sure, like.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't, but I'm sure they have their reasons. But this is a weird one for me. I don't really get this one.
Yeah, I don't really know what the benefit is other than maybe they just feel like it's not making enough money to pay for the contract for it.
I guess.
I don't
yeah,
know.
Probably so. Yeah, it's a shame. 2 other games leaving on March 15th. These are bigger ones. Hey, you remember Rainbow Six Extraction? Remember when that was supposed to be a big deal? It's leaving Game Pass now. Okay.
Yeah.
That game flopped, dude. Like everybody just kept playing Siege. Everybody just completely ignored Extraction. They maybe bought Extraction to get the skins in Siege, and then they all just kept playing Siege.
Yep.
That game totally flopped. From what I saw, like it seemed like a single player Rainbow Six thing that I might get more into, but like,
yeah, because if I remember right, this was basically like an event that they had that they spun off to be its own game.
Correct. Yeah, there was an event in Siege called like Extraction or Zombies or something like that. It's Rainbow Six with zombies, right?
Yeah.
And they spun it off into its own game, and apparently nobody wanted it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it came out, and I don't remember a lot of people having a lot of good things to say about it. And I remember it being like a nightmare to play on PC from Game Pass. Like, there were all these problems with connecting accounts because it made you do all that shit. And people couldn't get things to load and stuff. And they're just like, I'm done with it. I'm just going to move on. And then I don't know, like, if that stuff ever even got, like, taken care of right. Or Ubisoft was just like,
It's Ubisoft,
figure it out,
dude.
Kid.
It's a fucking mystery. Sometimes Ubisoft will be like right on top of the ball fixing something, and then you'll have Uno on Xbox that didn't get fixed for like 5 fucking years.
And then they just one day fix it.
And then they just randomly one day fix it, right?
Like, but why though?
But why? Why you've soiled it?
Yeah.
You've already soiled it. Why are you fixing it now? But yeah. Rainbow Six Extraction was a flop, it seems, and I don't think anybody's that sad about it leaving Game Pass. But it is a big name.
On Game Pass till right now.
It's a big name game though, so like sure. And then the last one leaving Game Pass, Spencer, a game you put on your top 5 favorite games from Game Pass in 2022. Life is Strange: True Colors leaving the service.
Yeah, that one's a really big bummer. I feel like because I feel like you either love those games or you hate those games. And for people that love those games, it's like, damn, that one's leaving now. But if you guys haven't played Life is Strange: True Colors and you like those kind of games, please check it out before it leaves the service. Because I think if you enjoy those kind of games, this one will be like top tier for you. I will say if you are somebody who creates content on the internet, don't stream this one. Play it by yourself because the streamer mode is dumb.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
The short version of it is there are some beautiful songs that the main character sings, and they're all covers of fairly big songs that are licensed. And they were like, we have a streamer mode. The streamer mode is literally just they mute the music. So you're just watching the cutscene in silence. Don't waste your time, because that's dumb.
Yeah, that shit's whack.
When I streamed it, I just... stared at the camera during that moment to make it as awkward as I could because I was like, well, this is what the vibe is with how awkward this cutscene is. Might as well. Yeah. Let's lean into this.
Yeah, not a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, bummer that one's leaving the service. This game style is not one that I play all the time. But it's a cool game, and I'm bummed out that it is leaving the service. That being said, you've got 11 days. You can beat this game in that time.
Oh, you can easily beat this game in a weekend, maybe even like just a Saturday if all you do is like marathon the game.
Right, yeah. So if you've got time, if you've got an open spot in your schedule, maybe slide this one in before it goes away.
Yeah, it's a quick one for sure.
All right. That's not all the stuff that's coming in April. We do have some stuff that we know is coming in the back half of the month. Won't go into detail on that. Last Case of Benedict Fox, I think, is sort of the highlight of the back half of April. But that's the slate for the first half of April. Spencer, where are you at? What do you think?
I think the whole month of April, from what we know, is looking pretty good.
Yes.
If all I had was the front half of April, I would be a little bit more iffy on it, you know?
Right.
Because really the only things that are standing out to me are Ghostwire and Minecraft Legends. I mean, NHL 23, whatever, it's a AAA game, but it's another sport game.
Yeah.
Cool. Loop Hero just doesn't really seem like my jam, and Iron Brigade doesn't super seem like my jam either.
Yeah.
But it's cool seeing like these, like we were talking about, just an old nostalgia game. And I'm hoping that's what that will hit for a lot of people, you know, is, oh, I got a Saturday afternoon to kill. I'm going to relive high school for a little bit or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
I think that'll be nice. But yeah, I mean, overall, with the month of April, plus knowing a few games for the back half of the month, it's another pretty solid month, dude.
It's a really good month. Like, anytime you get both Ghostwire Tokyo and a new game from Xbox Game Studios, I think that's a good month.
Yeah, it's
right?
hard to be mad at it.
Yeah. You get a big game that's, maybe a little bit older. I think Loop Hero is a bigger deal than I think people are letting on. I think that game coming to Game Pass, I mean, it's already kind of had its like cultural moment, right, on streamers or whatever. It's already had that, but I'm sure there are a ton of people that have heard about that game and then just never picked it up and never tried it.
Yeah.
I count myself as one of those, right? So I am very excited to see that game come into the service. In fact, I literally just finished the download as we were doing the episode, so I'll check it out. And I think this month looks really good. And knowing we've got Last Case of Benedict Fox coming in the back half of the month, excellent. I'm very happy with the slate for April. You may have noticed, Spencer, there's another game that's been in the news lately that I did not include in that list of leaving on March 15th and wasn't included in the news slate that came out today. But there is a situation going on with it, so I wanted to talk about it. Quantum Break was recently discovered yesterday, I believe it was, on the Leaving Game Pass Soon list. And a lot of people were concerned about this because it is a first-party Xbox-owned IP. Remedy made the game. Microsoft owns the IP. So why the fuck is it leaving Game Pass? We've gotten an answer. Earlier today, a news article came out that basically said they're working on a licensing issue. That game came out on April 5th, 2016. So we're almost exactly 7 years after the release. My guess, Spencer, if it's a licensing issue, is they bought a 7-year music license.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense, right? Like,
yeah,
there's a music license in there somewhere, and that's what they have to work out before it can still be distributed in any way.
Right. So I'm assuming that license expires on April 5th.
Mm-hmm.
They have put the game on a steep discount. We've seen stuff like this before in Game Pass land. We've seen this with Forza Horizon. Forza Horizon 3 got delisted, and it got put on sale for super cheap, right? Right now, you can go buy Quantum Break on the store for $8.
Mm-hmm.
So they put it on sale for pretty damn cheap. And if you care that much about Quantum Break, you can go get a physical copy at GameStop for $7. I looked it up earlier today. I'm sure that price will tick up as it leaves digital storefronts a little bit. So you might want to go do it now if Quantum Break is a game you care about. But I've seen a lot of like freak out about this on social media. I don't think this is cause for gigantic concern because we've seen this happen before. This isn't new.
Yeah.
Like, if it is a music license thing. If it's something else, then maybe it's something else. I don't know. But if it's a music license thing, we've seen this happen before. Mm-hmm. It'll either go away, or it sounds like Microsoft is committed to making sure this one comes back, which is good.
Yeah, and I think, like we've said, people are saw it and immediately jumped to a conclusion of, well, first party titles aren't safe either from leaving the service, or, just in general saying like, well, now games are going to leave and it's not going to be worth the money, or just, I don't know, internet being scared of something,
Right.
Where today
Never seen this happen before. Yeah.
Yeah, where they've said like, yo, dude, it's a license issue. We want it back. Like, we just have to negotiate that contract.
Right.
And I don't know, like, I don't feel like Microsoft or Xbox like owes anyone to say like, this is why the game's leaving for a little bit. But I don't know, maybe it would be worth it for stuff to be like, just by the way, like, it'll be back. Don't worry. I promise. If you're in the middle of the freaking game and you just like are dying to finish it, just buy it for $8, dude. Like,
right.
We'll put it on a deep discount, so you're not like completely screwed over. But yeah, I don't think this is like cause for alarm or anything, right?
Yeah, I can understand why they can't say it will be back absolutely, because it's entirely possible that whatever license they have to negotiate falls through.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
That's entirely possible. I can totally understand them not being able to say it will come back for sure. We need to work this out. They can just say we need to work this out.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's totally fair to say, right? Of like, hey, this is a licensing issue. We got to work it out. I thought it was curious that they didn't mention it in the Slate article today.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was kind of a miss, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For people's comfort level of like, just tell them, hey, by the way, this is probably going to be leaving Game Pass soon. We've put it on a discount. If you want to make sure you can keep playing it, here it is on a sale, right?
Yeah.
I think that it would have been nice for them to say that. Maybe it's possible in their negotiations they can't say that. I don't know, right? Maybe it's an issue. It could be an issue with Remedy, right? Remedy is its own independent company. Maybe it's an issue with Remedy. I don't know, right?
Yeah. Or just some lawyer was like, don't talk about possibly bringing it back. We want to have whatever tiny bit of leverage we can in negotiating. There's 9 million things that go into these kind of things, and it's probably more complicated than it needs to be, but
right,
that's the reality we have, right?
Right, exactly. That's the world in general, right?
Yeah.
So, usually more complicated than it needs to be, and the lawyers get paid a lot. Welcome to America.
You're so right.
So, I do think that it's understandable for your ears to perk up when you hear a first-party game is leaving Game Pass. But I think this is a situation that we have seen before and not a new situation. Now, we could get new information that changes that, right?
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's a music license issue. Also, you got to remember, Quantum Break was a TV show. They had a TV show tie-in on Fox. It could be an issue with that, too. I would not be surprised if this is a messy licensing situation, right?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, there's probably like a million things that could be going on with this.
Yeah. So if it's a licensing issue, and Microsoft owns the IP, but if it's some sort of licensing issue with either Fox or Remedy or a music holder or something like that, it might take a while for them to figure that out.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if this leaves the service for like a few months and then, oh, hey, Quantum Break's back, right? I wouldn't be surprised if it never comes back. Here's the thing, though, y'all. It's an $8 video game now. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna sit here and freak the hell out about one relatively obscure mid-era Xbox One exclusive. Like,
yeah.
If we're taking down the Master Chief Collection, call me, right? Like, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, if we're looking at big, like, associated with Xbox and Microsoft, like, first party, that's the name and face of the console, I'm going to get a little bit more worried. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, if they were just like, hey, by the way, we're going to take Forza Horizon 5 off of here, I'd be like, whoa, hold up, you're what now?
Right.
But yeah, this game is still I can see where people were like, hold on, what's going on here? Get an explanation and then go, oh, okay, we good.
Yeah, exactly. And none of this is to say, like, I kind of feel like we're talking down on Quantum Break a little bit. None of that is to say this is a bad game. Quantum Break is a great game by all accounts. It's fucking Remedy, right? Like those guys, like Alan Wake 2's coming out soon, and hell yeah, I fucking love Remedy's games, right?
The only art I have on this wall are from Remedy games, dude. Like, Remedy games slap, okay?
Yeah.
We're not saying this is a bad game. It's just not, like, brand recognition concerning.
Right. It is probably, like, the last game you think of when you think of Remedy. Like, oh yeah, Remedy, Control, Alan Wake, Max Payne. Didn't they make another thing? Oh yeah, Quantum Break.
Exactly.
Right, yeah, exactly. Digital ownership of stuff is messy, right? You don't own anything that's on Game Pass. You're renting a license, right? You don't own any of your digital games. If you're that concerned about the thing being taken away from you, go get a physical copy. They're cheap.
This one's
right?
$7.
It's $7, right? If you're deeply concerned about that, I understand. Go snag a physical copy. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is an interesting situation. I think it's one that will get cleared up in a couple of months, probably. I could eat crow on that. I don't know. Maybe the game leaves the service forever, right? We don't know.
Yeah.
But
it
is going to be.
Doubt it will, right?
I doubt it too. Yeah. I feel like this is something that can probably get worked out.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Hopefully so. Because Quantum Break, again, it's a good game. And a lot of people missed it because a lot of people skipped the Xbox One generation entirely, right?
Yeah.
Like, when you think about a lot of the games on the, we talk about Sunset Overdrive all the time and how fucking that game just rips.
It's so good, dude.
It's so good. That's a game a lot of people missed in the Xbox One generation. That was an Xbox exclusive. Yeah. Recore, which was kind of meh. And this game, I think, is another one that comes up of, like, the Xbox One was sort of a lost generation for AAA for a lot of folks.
Yeah.
And this is one that, is a representation of the Xbox One as a console, right? So I totally get why people are a little bit concerned about it. But I think Microsoft realizes that, and I think they are the company, the big AAA company that is the most committed to game preservation, I think, is Microsoft. Like, Sony seems disinterested in its back catalog. They've done some of it just because the fan base yelled at them long enough to do it. Nintendo does Nintendo things. I mean, they just took down the Wii U and 3DS shop, so they're not that committed to game preservation, right?
I would almost argue that Nintendo is the least.
They are anti-game preservation. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Which is weird because they have the best library. But anyway, it's so weird.
This isn't a Nintendo podcast, but it would just fucking print money, dude.
Yes.
It would just print money for them to have these things available on the Switch.
Here's the Buckwild thing. They've done it before. The Virtual Console was a thing on the Wii, and it made gangbusters money.
Yeah, they just went, we don't like money anymore.
We don't like money anymore. It's so stupid. Anyway, like, they've put a Band-Aid on it with the whole, like, Switch Online emulators, right? Like, they put a Band-Aid on it, but, like, fuck, dude. Yeah. How hard is this? Put up your old games and charge me $5 a pop for them. I'm an idiot. I'll buy them again. Like, it's a license to print money and you're just not picking it up.
Yep.
You're idiots. Anyway. Point fucking being.
Says the two people who don't own trillion-dollar businesses.
Right, exactly. I'm a moron. I'll buy Link to the Past again. Trust me. I've done it twice before. I bought it on the Wii. I bought it on the Wii U. Guess what? I'll probably buy it on the Switch again.
Let's go 3 for 3, baby.
Let's go 3 for 3. I'm an idiot. Take my money. Like, fuck's sake. Anyway, I feel like this is a situation that Microsoft is going to resolve. So I don't want to, like, get too in the weeds concerned about it. Yeah, if we find out more in a couple months, then sure. Sound the alarms. Right now, I'm not sounding the alarms.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel, too. Like, I'm not overly concerned with it right now. I feel like it's going to be back fairly soon. Unless there's just some licensing agreement that can't be worked out, which I feel like more goes back to the problem of digital content in general, as opposed to a conversation about Game Pass, right?
Right. Yeah. I feel like that stretches back to, I'll give you a perfect example. I've been on my brother and I's stream playing Transformers War for Cybertron. This game fucks. You can't buy it anywhere. Why can't I buy this sick ass game without paying 35 American dollars for a physical copy? What the fuck? That game slaps. Let me go buy it somewhere, right? It's just the world is still evolving on digital licensing.
Yeah.
Right? And it sounds like Microsoft has started to solve that problem for all their current stuff, right? Because it sounds like Forza Horizon 4 isn't going anywhere, right? Just as an example. But it is a problem that needs to be solved for all the stuff prior to, and that involves a bunch of complicated legalities. So,
right.
Give them time. I think Quantum Break will be back on the service before we know it.
Yeah, I think so. And hopefully over time, we see this happen less and less as they're starting to figure out those long-term licenses, right?
Right.
And I don't know, maybe instead of like 7-year contracts, they're doing like 25-year contracts. And then in 25 years, nobody gives a shit anymore if the game's gone, right? Like,
right.
They're like, okay, whatever. Like, I forgot that game existed because it's 2.5 decades old. If I was that concerned, I probably bought it.
Right.
So
exactly.
maybe that's their goal, and it's just, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. You know who probably should be concerned right now?
Who should be concerned? Tell me about
the ESA and Reed Pop, because E3 sounds dead as hell.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Man, it's such a it's a bummer to hear how that's all going down, right? Because
yes. So this is older news, so I'll give the brief recap. So Reed Pop, who's the same folks that run PAX, the same folks, paired up with the ESA, and they said, "We're doing E3 this year, guys. We're back." And then Sony said, "Nah, we ain't going." And then Nintendo said, "Nah, we ain't going." And then Microsoft said, "We'll have a presence, but we're doing our own show in our own theater."
Yeah.
And then Ubisoft said, "Yeah, we're going to come." Oh, wait, the 3 big console players all said they're not going to be there? Nah, we ain't going either. And I think the ESA just kind of went, fine, I guess Jeff Keighley ate our lunch. We're done. Never mind. And they canceled the show.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it. I'm sad. It fucking sucks. I think Summer Games Fest is whack. Like, it carries none of the same identity of the idea of everyone's in the same place at the same time, and everyone has the same spotlight and the same opportunity, and the eyes are on the industry as a whole.
Yep.
I think the disadvantage of these digital events is that it's so horse with blinders. It's so narrow focused, right?
Yeah.
I used to take off work for E3 week.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I would sit down and no life these press conferences because I want to know what the game industry is up to.
Yeah.
Right? And we're losing that. And I think a lot of people are mad at the ESA because of the data leak thing and like a bunch of stuff. Sure, it doesn't have to be the ESA. It doesn't have to be named E3. But having an event like this is important for the industry. And losing it, I think people are not selling the importance of losing that. There will probably be something that comes in its place eventually.
Oh, yeah.
But it might be a while. And frankly, I have a hard time seeing these companies giving up these digital events for a physical place that they have to spend money on.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing is I just don't see these corporations that are now looking at it and going, oh, okay, we saved money and people still bought our games? Great, we're never going back to anything like that ever again.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I feel like there's not a lot of incentive for them to want to do that from a business standpoint, which I understand. I hate it, but I understand. Yeah. They have to make money, and whatever makes them the most money is the goal. And whatever makes them spend the least amount of money is the other goal. right?
Right.
But yeah, dude, it's a bummer. Like this was Christmas in the summertime, right? We didn't
Yep.
physically get anything, but we got to see what we were looking forward to. And it was
Right.
everyone was excited, right? Like people, of course, people on the internet would be like, that game looks stupid, whatever. But everyone that's into video games beyond a very casual aspect was like dialed in. It was like
Yeah.
the only time that everyone, no matter what you played, no matter what console you preferred or whatever, everyone kind of came together on the internet, whether it was Reddit, Twitter, or like Facebook groups, and were like, fuck yes, let's talk about video games.
Yeah.
And
now we're not gonna get that anymore.
Yeah.
Like everybody's on their own individualized. Like to me, I feel like it's gonna make the gaming community even more divisive than it already is.
Yeah.
Because now, like, without the allure of E3 and the whole like communal experience of everyone coming together to see everything, now the Sony only fan and the Xbox only fan and the Nintendo only fan will just stay in their sort of narrow boxes.
Yeah.
Right? Like they won't see what's going on in the rest of the industry. This is also a gigantic blow for independent developers. E3 was the place to get your game noticed. If you happen to get a game in one of the major players' E3 show, like, that's money for... Cuphead is like a prime example of a game that Microsoft noticed, said, oh yeah, cool, let's throw it up on our E3 show, and everyone went, what the fuck is that? That looks amazing, right? Yeah. My worry with these digital-only events is that we're just not going to get independent games like that anymore. Like, it's going to be that much harder. The only way is you're going to have to get noticed on fucking Twitter, which is a minefield.
Yeah, which is all, like, in general, outside of that, is also just, like, becoming a complete shit show every single day.
Yeah. Or it's just going to be harder and harder for independent game developers to get their game in front of someone who can support it. Yeah. Right? It's just going to be harder for them. It's going to be harder for mid-level games that are not the big AAA games that are getting pushed, right? It's going to be harder for them because now they don't really have a place. Like, they have to figure out a way to weasel their way onto these, company-owned digital shows, which is harder. I don't know, man. I think losing E3 sucks eggs, and I think a lot of people are, like, weirdly celebrating it, and I don't get that mentality at all. I think this is a net loss for the industry. And maybe Summer Games Fest just becomes E3, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe Jeff just goes, fuck it, I'll put more money into this, and they'll do an actual stage show. But unless that happens, the Summer Games Fest is whack. It's not the same. It's absolutely not the same.
No.
We'll see what happens in the summer. If the industry still comes together in LA in June, July anyway, then, like, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm sad about it, I think, is my overall point. Yeah. I'm sad.
No, I mean,
yeah.
I am too. I agree with you. Like, it sucks for a ton of reasons, right? It's not just like, oh man, it's kind of a bummer that we won't get to, like, see games all at once. It's just like we said, it's harder for other people to pop up that aren't already giant names. We're not going to have that camaraderie with everyone like we have, and it's going to be like people are just going to look for what they want, and that's about it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think overall it's a huge bummer. Like, I get the idea of not wanting to spend a ton of money to do a huge theatrical presentation and fly your team out there and all that stuff, because all that does cost money and production adds up.
Right.
So I get that idea, but, like, there's got to be a middle ground here other than just throwing up a Twitch stream and being like, these are the games that are coming to Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo, and then going, okay, bye, and then they're gone until the game comes out.
Right.
There got to be some kind of middle ground in there, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I mean, we still have Gamescom in Europe. We still have Tokyo Game Show in Japan. So, like, there will still be events, right? And I feel like the void for a US-based event of that nature will get filled.
Yeah.
By someone. Someone will fill that void. But,
it's just a matter of who and when.
Who and when, right, exactly. Does PAX expand and become the E3 equivalent? Yeah. Does Jeff Keighley say, fuck you, I'm taking over the entire games industry, I'm running the summer show too? It'll be someone, right? Yeah. Someone in this space will pick up the baton. It just might take a while.
Yeah.
And it might be hard for them to get buy-in.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part. It's almost going to have to be somebody who's already a big name doing that, right? Like, it would have to be a PAX or Jeff going, okay, look, we're going to take Summer Game Show or whatever and make it, I'm just going to make my own E3 with a different name. Right. And I have the experience and probably the money to make this happen.
Yeah.
And I mean,
and the industry connections, because everybody seems to fucking love the guy.
Everybody knows who he is, and even if you aren't in the industry, like working in it, but you are an avid video game fan and follower, you know the name,
right?
And he says, "Hey, I'm gonna be the one making it. You're gonna back it," and as long as it's not just the Game Awards 2.0 in the summer. I don't think I hate that. Like, I'd be fine with him putting together something.
Because that's kind of what Summer Games Fest right now is, right?
Yeah.
It's the Game Awards without the awards part, right? What I miss about E3 is I miss the, like, panel experience of, like, we're between shows and here's 4 people at a panel. We're going to talk about what we're about to see. Then we see the press conference. Then we get immediate reaction, right? Like, IGN still does some of that around all the digital events.
Yeah.
Maybe it's IGN that picks up this baton. I don't know. But, like, I miss it being, like, a full day event, right? Of, like, we're doing this. The whole day can be consumed by E3, right? And everyone did their press conferences on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Right? Like, now... Like, what? Fucking Dev Direct was on, like, a random Wednesday?
Yeah, it's just, like, randomly in the middle of the week.
Yeah, Nintendo Directs are, like, usually on, like, just random days at 5 in the afternoon, right? Like, I'm fucking at work, dude.
Yeah. And even if I'm not, I've just gotten off work and I'm tired. I don't want to sit at my desk and watch this shit anymore. Like, I'm moving on with my life for the day. I'll catch it. Whatever, I'll catch the article that gives me the overview.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I just think that for the good of the industry, the camaraderie of the industry, the ability to discover new stuff in the public sphere, losing a show like this hurts more than it helps.
Yeah.
And I'm sad, man. Like, we'll still cover all the summer games. Like, everyone's still going to do a show in the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, State of Play will happen. The Xbox will do their developer showcase. There will probably be a Nintendo Direct. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not a guarantee with Nintendo. Nintendo gonna Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
But, there will probably be a summer Direct somewhere, right?
There's gonna be stuff.
There will be stuff to talk about. It's just going to be this weird, and I hated it in 2020, and I still hate it to this day, because this is the format now, of everybody does their own 30-minute direct, and they're spread out over the course of a month.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't have the time to keep up with all that. All that information used to be condensed in a weekend. And now it's a month. And I get that that's probably better for the individual companies, because each individual company gets their day. They get a whole day that's just focused on them.
Yeah.
Right? So I understand for the companies why it's beneficial. But for me, as a consumer of gaming news and as a fan of the industry, I find it entirely too overwhelming to the point where I check out.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing, is just like, whenever it's happening in a weekend or even a week, let's say, I can prepare for that. I can mentally put myself in a space where I am taking in all of this information and digesting it. When it happens over like a 6-month span, I'm just like, oh my God, there's more news. I just don't care. I stopped caring like halfway through this, dude.
Right.
And like, that's not to say that random news happening every now and then is a bad thing, but it's just like every announcement has to happen by itself, and it's over such a long period of time that I just get fatigued with information, and I just stop giving a shit.
Yeah. No, I'm the exact same way. I completely agree. So
yeah, it's a bummer. I hope that somehow something can come back together for it. And
yeah, even if it's like the ESA says fuck it and we're done, and I don't care about the E3 name. Like, that has some name recognition, name value, right? But it's also tainted with the data leak thing. So, like, if you want to say fuck E3 as a name and idea and we don't want the ESA involved, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Right? But the industry needs what E3 stood for, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully somebody picks up that baton and we don't just do Summer Games mess for the rest of our life.
Yeah.
Like Jeff Grubb coined the phrase perfectly. It's not Summer Games Fest, it's Summer Games Mess. It's just a mess. It's a disorganized mess right now. And I just need someone to rein it in.
Yeah.
And if it's Jeff, fucking fine. I'm not the biggest Jeff Keighley fan in the world, but if it's Jeff, fine.
Yeah. As long as
someone.
As long as he announces games that aren't just from Hideo Kojima.
As long as it's not just him, you know. Yeah, as long as it's not just him giving a subtle handy underneath the table to all of his friends, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, as long as it's not that, chill, no problem.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, that's a bummer note to end the show on, but we do need to wrap things up.
I'll tell you what. How about we end on a slightly really fast positive note?
Okay, hit me.
Okay. While we were doing this show, some news broke about a new controller that's coming out.
Okay.
So I'll put a link in the chat, and I'll put it in the description of the video. It is a very simple thing. It's just a special edition controller coming from Microsoft that looks super cool. It's like green and a lime green and black and like a wood grain to it. And it comes with a rechargeable battery kit and USB-C cable. So if you're looking at it and going, why is this an $85 controller? Well, it's a controller and the charging pack and cable.
That's really smart, actually.
Yeah, I dig it. Like, the whole idea behind this is sustainability. Like, that's the design on it. If you look at the page, they're talking about sustainability for the environment. Instead of throwing away your AA batteries, we're giving you a charging pack with it. So it's all bundled in one little nice thing, and you're set.
I'm just reading the article here. 1/3 of the plastics used in this controller are made from regrind and reclaimed materials.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. It's a really cool looking controller. I don't know that I'm going to rush out and buy one because I have a lot of controllers and I have rechargeable batteries, so I don't really need to spend $85 on it.
Sure.
But if you're in the market for a new controller, or you're just a big fan of collecting Xbox controllers, new one came out, and it's got some cool sustainability stuff behind it, which, I mean, isn't perfect, obviously, but it's steps in the right direction.
Absolutely, yeah. Every little step goes a long way to healing our fucking soon-to-be broken planet. So,
yeah, exactly.
like, absolutely, small steps. I'm for it. Small steps go a long way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. That's a cool controller. If you're in the market for a controller, there's a ton of controller stuff. I just recently read an article about Thrustmaster putting out a new Forza themed controller that has a wheel on the controller that replaces the D-pad as like a module. That's really interesting.
Wild, but I want to see it.
I want to see, like, I want to try it. Absolutely. Yeah. It's like $130, which is a bit steep for me.
Yeah, that's a little steep for kind of a goof.
Right, but I want to try it. I want to play a fighting game on it. I think it'd be funny. But anyway, bunch of stuff going on in the world of controllers. So if you're in the market for a controller, go check that out.
Yeah.
All right, sick. So that'll wrap things up for the SPARCPass news update for April 4th, 2023. If you watch this live, thank you. I appreciate that. You're great. Look at you. I want to smooch your face. If you're listening to this the next day on the podcast feed, you can listen to this live on twitch.tv/SPARCPass. The first and third Tuesday of the month, you can listen to it live, and then it comes out on the podcast feed the next day. You can go find SPARCPass on every social media except for Facebook. Don't go to Facebook. It's not going to be there. At SPARCPass. You can check us out on social media. And you can check out the next episode of the podcast, which, as we mentioned earlier in the show, next week, we're talking about Minecraft Dungeons. And we'll be finishing up that game on the stream this weekend. We skipped the stream this weekend. Sorry about that, because it was my birthday. And WrestleMania was happening.
Dare you enjoy things in your life? I can't believe you.
I know, I'm a monster. It was my birthday and WrestleMania happened, and I was like, yo, I completely forgot WrestleMania was this weekend. Can I watch WrestleMania instead? Spencer was like, fine.
Yeah, he texted me like 5 minutes before the stream. It was like, oh my god, I forgot.
I didn't.
It was
I
like
texted
that
you in the
afternoon
morning.
or something like
that.
that.
It was in the morning, yeah.
Yeah.
I completely forgot WrestleMania was that weekend. But yeah, so we'll be back on the grind. We'll be finishing up Minecraft Dungeons on the stream on Sunday. So if you're listening to this the week this comes out, come hang out with us on the stream. Sundays at 7 Eastern. Come check it out. Yeah, that'll do it for the news update. Spencer,
Alright,
thank you as always for potting with me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks
And
for
thank you.
Thanks for working so hard on the show, man. Appreciate it.
And thank you for listening. Thank you. Thank all of you. Have an attitude of gratitude today. I don't know. That's fucking lame. I'm not ending the show on that.
I like it.
All right. Have an attitude of gratitude today. Embrace the day, everybody. We will see you next week for Minecraft Dungeons. Take care, everybody.